Well, here's the truth nobody warned you about. Your brain doesn't get worse with age. Your tolerance for bullshit does. And honestly, thank God, because the whole idea that you peak at 25, well, sweetheart, at 25, you're basically a walking hormone with the LinkedIn profile, basically, right? If you are 40, 50, 60, I want you to listen closely, okay? You are in your prime phase of neuroplasticity. I love that word, for reinvention, because your brain is not declining. Your brain is bored. And we've talked about this. You guys have to listen. You keep sending me DMs, but you're not listening. So this episode is your permission slip. No, it's your scientific proof that you can actually still change your life and change your patterns, change your identity, and start a whole new damn chapter. So if anyone tells you it's too late, I want you to tell them, too late, my ass.
Ever feel like life passed you by while you were being responsible? Like everyone else got a head start on success, on happiness or purpose, and now you're just trying not to fall asleep during your own life. Well, welcome to Too Late, My Ass. This is the podcast for anyone who's ever thought it was too late. Too late to dream again, to build again, or begin again. So spoiler alert, it's not. I'm Fay Chapple, and I'm here to help you burn the rule book, rewrite the script, and become the main character in your next chapter. So whether you're 39, 49, 59, or 79, this isn't about getting your groove back. It's about finally giving yourself permission to freaking exist exactly as you are. So hit subscribe, tell that inner critic to take several seats, and let's make this your comeback era, because too late, my ass.
All right, let's get started. Welcome to Too Late, My Ass. This is the show for anyone who woke up one day and thought, wait, this can't be the storyline. Surely I get a second season. And guess what? You do. And it's going to be better than the first. So if you're new here, I'm Fay Chapple, your friendly neighborhood neuroscientist of midlife rebellion. We are here to politely dismantle everything you thought you knew about age, about identity, about burnout, about purpose, about potential. Politely, maybe with a little sarcasm too. And occasionally I might use the word bullshit. So you have to be careful that you know where you are, because honestly, some myths deserve us to use the word bullshit, right? Because number one, and those of you who are new, this might be surprising to you, but those of you who have been following along, you get it. There is a big lie that you can't change after 40. So let's start by roasting the dumbest cultural myth of all, right? That you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I love that one. First of all, why? Because that's rude. It's very rude. And second, because it's wildly incorrect. Thirdly, dogs learn new tricks literally all the time, Karen. Yeah, that's for you. It's true. So here's what actually happened so I can explain it to you. Because a lot of you have been following along, but you haven't quite got it. It hasn't quite sinked in. So in the 1960s, which was a very long time ago, a few scientists assumed that the adult brain was static. And instead of, doing more research, every magazine, every teacher, and every parent on the planet, they just ran with it. And so for decades, we believed your personality is fixed, your habits are fixed, your intelligence is fixed, your identity is fixed, your capacity for anything is fixed. So what was the translation here? That if you didn't figure it out by 30, you just gave up and maybe started a garden or something. Meanwhile, neuroscience was like, hey, no, actually the adult brain is constantly rewiring itself. So what do we know now? Well, we know that you grow new neural connections well into your 70s and maybe even longer, right? And the novelty increases neuroplasticity. It doesn't make it go away. So reinvention isn't emotional, it's biological. Your brain isn't aging out, it's upgrading. So change is really harder only because your patterns are older, not because you are. Do you get that? Change is harder because your patterns are older, not because you are. Okay? So think about that. I want you to step away from the TED Talk that you're watching, right? Somewhere else. And I want you to understand that what neuroplasticity is. And I'm going to explain it in TLMA terms, right? TLMA style. When I say TLMA for you newbies, that means too late my ass. So you understand it. So let's think about your brain as essentially Play-Doh. And your habits are those finger dents in the Play-Doh, right? So the more you do something, the deeper the dent, right? The deeper the dent, the easier it is for your brain to slide back into it, right? So when people say, this is just who I am, no, Brenda, that's just not who you are. That's just who you practiced being, right? The real reason reinvention feels scary because you're stepping out of a groove that your brain has rehearsed for decades. But here's the twist. Novelty is really rocket fuel for your brain. So anything new, anything forces your brain to break pattern and build new patterns. And for those of you who are in NLP, sometimes we call this pattern interrupt, right? So let's think about it. Starting a business at 52, well, that's neuroplasticity, right? Taking a pottery class, or like my producer and I do, taking a stained glass class, that's neuroplasticity. We did it. We didn't do it very well, but we still did it, right? Learning TikTok at 50, neuroplasticity plus maybe some humiliation combined, but very, very effective, right? So your brain doesn't need clarity. It really needs surprise. Write that down. That's a great quote for you to remember. Your brain needs surprise. It doesn't need clarity. It needs surprise. So let's talk about that fear loop, because I know once I said that, you guys are bringing up that fear. And we talk about these same issues and these same conditions every single week here, but we're trying to drill it in so that you understand it. So people always say the way that I'm waiting to feel ready, right? We talk about this all the time. And yes, that famous emotion called ready, right? Ready. Well, I never met her. Have you? Because readiness is not neurological, but fear is, because your brain loves familiar things because they require less energy. It loves routine. It loves safety, which is really hilarious because safety is usually where dreams essentially go to die, right? So when you try something new, your brain screams, nope, nope, we're going to die. I don't want to do it, right? And that's just really, you're telling yourself that, you need to move forward. Your brain is saying you need to move forward. And, what did we learn last couple of weeks? Action, even tiny, laughably small action turns fear into focus, right? And courage sends a message to really that prefrontal cortex, right? Wake up, we're upgrading. Have you guys seen that show? Oh, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called Upgrade or something, isn't it? Where they actually upgrade people's brains in this whole hologram kind of world. But guess what? Your brain actually listens when you're telling it you are upgrading. So essentially, midlife is really your superpower. And this part is my favorite because everyone talks about midlife decline. But neuroscience really shows the opposite, right? So at 40 plus, you have better pattern recognition. You probably have higher emotional intelligence. You definitely have a stronger bullshit radar, right? And so I know you're agreeing with me on that. You have more stable dopamine cycles. You have faster meaning making, right? So you associate the meaning to some things really quickly. You have really a more integrated identity because you've lived life, right? And that life experience to do something about it is there in your body, right? So your brain actually finally knows what the hell it's doing. Your 20s, in your 20s, you're a baby giraffe on roller skates, right? In your 30s, you're like a stressed out overachiever. You're trying to impress people and you don't even like them, but you're still trying to impress them, right? Because you don't know any different when you're 30. In your 40s and in your 50s, well, that's when you become dangerous, right? In the best way. You know who you are, you know what matters, and you know what you're no longer willing to tolerate. And that's the perfect neurological cocktail for reinvention. So, how do we start rewiring that today? Okay. This is the part where most podcasts give you those top 10 tips, right? That you'll never remember. So today, not here, not today, I'm going to give you three science-backed actions that rewire starting today. So for the last couple of months, we've been leading up to getting started, really making a difference. And part of it comes from challenges, right? And if you're in our Inner Circle membership, you know every single month we do challenges. And I'll talk to you guys more about it at the end. But we are opening up the membership again in January. And you can get an early bird when we do Black Friday. But let's get into this first. So here are your top 3 things. Number 1 is, I want you to do one thing differently today, okay? Brush your teeth with the opposite hand. Take a different route to the store. Stand on the other side of the elevator or pick a seat that you don't normally sit in. Your brain wakes up and whispers, oh, we're changing something cool. Let's try it. Think about that. What can you do? Or maybe do a lot of different things. If you're used to holding your phone with your left hand, hold it with your right and scroll with your left. Whatever you're doing, do things differently. Take a different route into town, into the store, in to pick up your kids, right? And then number 2 is start essentially what is a courage repetition loop, okay? So I want you to pick one bold action per day. Small, repeatable, and a little terrifying. So your prefrontal cortex, it gets stronger. Your self-concept gets bigger. Your fear response, it weakens. So, and it doesn't matter anything you can do, small, repeatable, but it takes you courage to actually do it. And number 3 is visibility acts. So I want you to do one thing that makes you feel seen. Maybe post online, maybe share an idea you're thinking about, or how about wear something louder, or tell the truth instead of avoiding it and coming up with a white lie. Visibility is the fastest neurological accelerator for identity change, right? So do something that's visible so you're more apt to do it. There's a lot of our clients and a lot of people we've worked with. We have so many stories of reinvention, people that have retired and then started a podcast or started a speaking career or started a new hobby. So think about what your framework is and fill in your own details. You know, there's the story one that we tell ourselves, the thought of, I thought it was too late, reinvention, right? So that's when, think about if this applies to you, someone who changed careers at 50, right? How did that feel? And how did that change things? Or maybe you are story 2, which is the burnout breakthrough, right? Did you hit a wall? Right? Or have you hit a wall and now you need to rewire and find clarity, right? Through action. Or maybe it's just a personal shift. It's a moment, and maybe it's listening to this podcast. It's a moment where you realized your brain was evolving, not declining. Because when you understand these stories make the science human, right? And this is where you want to know that, yeah, you can do it too. And I want you to think about friends that have done it, or people that you admire or that you look up to, or mentors, right, that have changed midstream. We're going to talk about a lot of those stories in the upcoming episodes. We talk about it in our membership group. And we talk about people because it adds inspiration for you to know that you can get started as well. So I really want you to think about where you are. Has something happened? Do you just want to change? What is it that's triggering you to say, I want to listen to this, to Too Late My Ass, and I want to make a significant difference? Because if you're listening to this thinking, I want to change, but I don't know where to start, you're already starting. You're starting by being here. Clarity is not step one. Courage is. Your brain is not old. Your brain is ready. And reinvention, it's not a makeover. It's a neurological revolt. And you, my friend, you're built for this. So if you are part of our inner circle and you want to join, we do a whole backstage breakdown of all these episodes where we talk about real world side of reinvention. I'm joined by my producer, Stacey Maynard, and our conversations sometimes get messy. Sometimes they're funny. We do honest parts on there that I don't necessarily want to share on my entire podcast, but we're reopening membership January 1st, and we do a special opening on Black Friday. So if you go onto the wait list, then you'll be the first to know about it. So if you go to toolatemyass.com, scroll down and find join the wait list, and then you can have access if this is appealing to you. If you're saying to yourself, I recognize I want to change, I'm ready to go, I just need some help, let's get started. So if you loved this podcast or this YouTube video, please subscribe, leave a review, send it to a friend who's stuck, right? Show them the science, show them the sarcasm, show them the rebellion. So until next time, this is Too Late My Ass. Join us. I can't wait to see you again.
Thanks for listening to Too Late My Ass. If this episode made you feel seen or heard or a little more ready to take your damn life back, then go ahead and hit that follow button. If you want to go deeper, grab your free comeback kit at toolatemyass.com and join the Act 2 Insiders list for weekly tools, community, and reminders that your story is far from over. Remember, you're not done. You're just getting started. Too Late My Ass, produced by the City Media Group.